Hey, what's going on, everyone? Ryan again with rpkcustoms.com. I just finished up a commission for Grant. Grant sent over a Anakin Starkiller Perfect cast for me to do up in the production V3 configuration. So this is my first time ever seeing one of these perfect casts in person, and I gotta say it's a really nice kit. There's no straight line on this thing, which is pretty cool. There's a slight taper in the booster section here. There's a slight taper in the emitter here. And of course all of the rings in the grenade section are different sizes, which is to be expected with a V2 or V3 these days. I ran into a slight problem with this when I went to go disassemble and weather this. When I first got the kit, I disassembled everything and looked at it and reassembled everything and put it back in the box for the time being, just because I had a couple other commissions on the table that I was already doing, so I couldn't get to this right away. When I went to go disassemble this to start the weathering process, I ran into thread lock right here above the clamp section. I got it about halfway out, and there must have been a chip or a burr, something in the threads that just got caught in there, and the threads locked up on me. I tried for probably 2 hours to get the threads unlocked by hand. I couldn't do it. It was bound up pretty good. So I messaged Grant and told him that I could probably get this unlocked for him, but it would mean that I would have to drill some holes in the clamp section here so that I could insert a rod through that would give me the leverage I needed to force these two sections apart. And he was like, yeah, you know, that's fine, whatever you have to do. I know Grant said he wanted to get this installed, so I wanted to make sure that the threads actually worked, that everything was functional for an install. So I did drill some holes in there, but you can see that they are completely hidden by the clamp. I drilled them in a certain spot right here in between the holes in the Graflux clamp so that you cannot see the holes from the outside. The only way you can see the holes is from the inside if you look in. But like I said, I think Grant intends to install this. So once you install this, between the clamp being on and a chassis, you're not going to be able to see the holes at all. But you can see that the threads are fully functional and that they are nice and smooth. You don't hear any noise, any grinding or anything like that. So what I did was, after I forced these two sections apart, I used a lapping compound on the threads. Lapping compound is basically a lubricant that has a little bit of grit in it. I think it's like silicon grit or something like that. It's used to grind valves for engines, and it works extremely well on threads. So I put a little bit of lapping compound on the threads, I worked it back and forth, and that polished the threads up quite a bit. The thread lock was not a fault of the design of the hilt itself or the manufacturer. Anytime you're working with aluminum threads, you run the risk of thread lock. It's just the nature of aluminum. Aluminum is a very sticky material, and if you get one chip or one burr in the threads, it will completely seize up on you and be a nightmare to get apart. 90% of the time, I can get thread lock apart. You know, like I did with this one, you're going to have some way to get some leverage on it and force it apart. So and as far as all the modifications, let's see. I got the casting line down the grenade section there and right there. And I also sculpted the casting protrusions right here around the base of the emitter, as well as the top of the thin neck here. And I did that on both sides as well. That's something that you can see in the reference photos of the V3. So we know that those are on the production V3 as well. I also got all of the accurate holes drilled. One there in the emitter, one right there, and then another one right there on the top of the pommel. And as well as all of the holes drilled in the clamp itself. This was an Anakin Starkiller clamp that came with the kit that I modified. And he also included a sloth furnace clamp card. I also did all of the damage along the pommel cubes. And I think that's it. This is a really fun hilt to work on. This is the first, like I said, this is the first time that I have seen a perfect cast in person, and it's a really nice kit. I really like it. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video on the Anakin Starkiller Perfect cast. May the Force be with you.